actors Don Cheadle and Robert Downey Jr. and Marvel's Kevin Feige.
First question.
Hi, doing? Ed Douglas from Superhero Hype. Avengers had such great action, again, great set pieces, and I was curious, what's the pressure for Iron Man 3 to have either bigger set pieces and just make it, up to that par?
Well, it's not necessarily, we're not aiming for bigger necessarily. We're aiming for different and fresh and new. And Shane, the new director of this movie, you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, fresh, different, but yeah, big. There is an idea about being big, but to me it's an idea about capturing and redoubling the intensity that the Avengers managed to capture. That sort of lightning in the bottle feel of really stuffing so much into a limited space. We're trying to get as much of this as we can. Robert refers to it as leaving it all on the field, and I think that's what we're looking to do, is just get a ton of thrills in a short space and make a nice little stew for you.
Hi, for Kevin and for Shane, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the Iron Patriot rumors, the picture that was online, and how that actually fits into the film.
Keep a straight face, Don.
Shane, do you want to talk about that?
I believe they were online.
They were online. The interesting, fun thing, the not fun thing is that it's online and you don't have a whole lot of control over that stuff anymore. The fun thing is, the reason it was online, because it's a real practical suit. And it was on the set and someone took a picture of it. It's actually an awesomely designed suit. And it's a suit that Mr. Cheadle does get to wear at certain points in the movie. And at certain points on the set, maybe not as fun.
Not as fun on the set as it would be in the movie.
The more uncomfortable for the actor, the more satisfying for the audience. But the good news and the fun thing for us, by the way, just in terms of the fans and the fan blogs, is just how much of all the guessing is so wrong. Completely off base. We're happy to feed. I said, let's just get someone in there to walk around as the most obscure Marvel villain ever. They get some costume at Kmart and have that show up. But we love the rumors. We love that. That's fun.
I'm all the way in the front on your right for Shane. You've written a lot of big movies for other directors and producers. Did that prepare you for directing your own big movie, and what surprised you being on the director's side of that equation?
What surprised me, frankly, was just how much generous help was available to me. It made it as easy as it could be. Jon Favreau, available to give me all kinds of tips and advice, and he just made it like walking off of one sort of platform onto another, and gave me the sort of transitional feel I needed. And Marvel has such an effective special effects machine that they could walk me through this process, hold my hand, and pretty much ensure that I was free to concentrate on story, character, and scale. And they just told, I said, well, I want to do this. They said, here's how you do it. And within a week, I knew these guys are terrific. They've done this a lot. They do it all the time.
For Robert and Shane, how did the storyline and the success of the Avengers impact what you guys want to do in this movie? And also for Robert, what were the sides of Tony Stark that you wanted to dig into for this one?
Well, kind of like what's already been said, Avengers even, I think, surprised us to a certain extent. Looking back on it, you can kind of dissect why it was the right movie with the right people, the right director at the right time, and we feel the same way about this now. I feel that that Rhodey and Tony had not entirely been explored as much as they might be, and that in the comics was always a big part of it, and to me, the heart of what was great about it. And also, we try to be practical in a post-Avengers world. What are his challenges now, and what are some limitations that might be placed on him, and what sort of threat would have him, as usual, ignore those limitations.
And truthfully, I mean, the way to go about, I think, doing a 3, if you're ever in that position, as I'm lucky enough to be, you've got to find a way that the first 2 aren't done yet. You have to find a way that the story that's emerging is still ongoing, and by the time you finish 3, it will have emerged as something resembling the culmination of a trilogy. In other words, how is the story not yet been completely told? And I think we're getting there. I think we've really found ways to make this feel organic and new based on what's come before. And that's what I'm happy about.
Against the wall here on the left.
Hi, this question's for Shane and Kevin. Iron Man 2 kind of really set up pieces for the Avengers movie, so how is Iron Man 3 going to kind of focus on Iron Man rather than setting up the next Avengers?
Well, I've already said that this is a very Tony Stark-centric film, meaning not just Tony, but his world with Pepper, with Rhodey. It was important to us as part of sort of the grand plan, if you will, from Iron Man 1 to Avengers, was about building that up. Frankly, the first step of the grand plan with Iron Man 3 is to prove they're just as interesting, if not more so, by themselves as they were when they were all together in the Avengers. So Iron Man 3, by design, is a very serious character study. It's not a serious movie, but we seriously dug into exploring more of Tony, of Rhodey, of Pepper, without calling S.H.I.E.L.D. and calling Thor, and I think Cap should be here in 5 minutes or any of that fun.
Over here on the right against the wall.
Any questions for Captain Planet? I mean, what were you thinking? I love it.
I honestly wasn't thinking.
Mike, guys over here, Mark Walters of BigFanboy.com. I was actually going to ask if there was a Captain Planet sequel. No, I'm just kidding. I did want to ask you, Robert, about being able to reteam with Shane on this after Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and the dynamic that you guys have together, working together, and what that was able to sort of bring to this particular production to, you know, kind of make it unique and different, and what the flavor was there.
Yeah. Well, I've known Shane for a while. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was one of my favorite experiences. The script was practically perfect, but we improvised anyway.
You improvised anyway.
And I mean, even just this time around, I've been saying this all day, it's kind of everybody is all, we've made enough mistakes all together that we're all kind of really seasoned at this point. And I think that the main thing is Shane's storytelling and the kind of emotional depth that happens without taking itself too seriously is kind of what John had set up. There was times when Favreau and I and Don would be calling Shane when we had a big scene the next day. He asked, his payment once was he asked that we pick him up a piece of salmon and some fresh blueberries. So he became known as code word blueberries after that. And he's working for about the same fee now.
Yeah.
Right back here, Sean.
Aaron Sagers, for Robert, how many more generations does this suit have to go through before you think, you know, it's really kind of there, that is the suit, that's going to be the ultimate suit that you wear? And also for Don, are we going to see you really suit up again?
I do suit up. There are some different iterations that War Machine goes through in this film. I don't want to give them away, but it's fun to see those things sort of morph and shift. And the Iron Man suit is really spectacular in this. The innovation that's happened with it.
I liked in the comics too that there was a bit of suit envy between.
Yeah.
Also, it's great because one suit is a private enterprise, the other is military owned. So you've got two Iron Men in essence, you know, private sector and government guy.
Yeah, and for some reason or other, he's still the one they trust.
By the way, I also find it really interesting that there were actually fans today who had anger that the suit was gold. I mean, all the things in the world to get angry about. The suit,
so many more.
In the front row here.
So this is kind of a combo question for Robert and Shane. You're so good at having kind of dark and gritty films, and you're so good at playing darker aspects of the character. Will we get to see any more sides, like we did in Iron Man 2, of Tony's dark side coming before in this one?
Yeah, I think that's the big idea. But also, you know, interestingly enough, this film has a lot of breadth to it, as well as we realize, you know, at the beginning of Iron Man 2, Tony's dying. Wow. Then he has a party, and then he's drunk. Wow.